Hello and welcome to this week's video diary. And this week I want to remind you that life is short. You only get one chance at this, and I'm going to talk a bit more about how I managed to live life on my terms with no savings, very little money, but I make it work. So if this is your first time here at my channel, welcome. I'm on a mission to inspire other women to create the life that they want, and I do that by sharing my experiences and my wisdom. I'm starting a new life in Australia at the age of 61. So if you haven't already, please like and subscribe, and if you want to support my work, you can also buy me a cup of tea. So yes, living life on my terms. I have not had a full-time job since 2005, so yeah, coming up for 20 years. I have never had what would be considered a well-paid job, although the best paid job I had was the one I left in 2005, interestingly enough, when I was a teacher. Teaching is well paid, despite what you might read. It's very stressful, that I am not going to deny, but I decided it wasn't worth it. It just was not worth the stress. At the time I was a single mum, 3 young sons, and I'd done 3 years after I qualified, and I could just not face the thought of another year going round teaching the same curriculum where the lessons were all planned out in a classroom that looked out on a brick wall. And look where I am now. It's a beautiful afternoon, autumn afternoon in Melbourne suburbs. This week I'm in the suburb of Ormond, and I'm doing a workaway, which I discovered last year thanks to oh gosh, I can't remember the name of her channel now, but I will share it below. And I was inspired by another woman in her 60s who started life over in her 50s. So a workaway means that I am staying with somebody, a woman who's a similar age to me and also on her own, and I'm helping her out by mostly doing gardening. But yesterday it was raining, and the day before, so I did some deep cleaning in the kitchen. And I do 3 or 4 hours work a day in return for having somewhere to stay and being fed. So that to me seems like a good deal, and I think it cost me about 40 UK pounds to sign up on the site to become a member. You have to become a member before you can apply to do workaways, or you can become a host. So it's a great way to do it, if you need a cleaner or something like that and you don't have the spare cash. And it's also a way of giving something back, and you get to meet amazing people, because also staying with Irina, the lady that I'm staying with, she's Russian, she's lived in Australia for 30 years, and there's also a young Japanese man staying there who's over here on a, what do they call it, a working holiday visa, I think. He's young. So you get to meet lots of different people. And I had this discussion with somebody the other day. So travel is more about the people you meet than the places that you see. So I don't have any savings. I have very little pension. I do get a small teacher's pension, but that is nowhere near enough to live on. It's probably about 5% of what I would need if I was to be paying rent and all the bills. And I know my lifestyle is not for everybody. It doesn't mean it's easy all the time. It can be very stressful, not knowing where you're going to be, where you're going to be staying. And I'm doing my first house sit next month as well. So that's another way for travelling on a budget, is to do house sitting. I had to pay again to sign up on the site. It was about 100 Australian dollars, about 50 UK pounds, and another little tip that I learned: try different currencies before you pay for something, because 99% of the time it's cheaper if I pay in Australian dollars than in pounds sterling. And I've got a Monzo account which doesn't charge any foreign transaction fees, so you save a lot of money if you can, you know, take that time to check the currencies. When I went to New Zealand, again, the flight was about half the price if I paid in Australian dollars as opposed to paying in UK pounds. So that's I learn all these little saving tips, and I do some work. I'm hoping to monetize this YouTube channel. It feels like it's slow progress sometimes, and I want to cry when I saw a video earlier today of a guy who's posted 3 videos and already has 3,500 followers, and I'm struggling to get to 500. It's like 2 steps forward, 1 step back. You get a few and then you lose a few, and oh, it feels like it's slow progress sometimes. So if you can help me out by subscribing and watching some of my videos, I'd really appreciate that. It doesn't cost anything to you, and it also means that I have control over where the adverts go, and then I can opt not to have them in the middle of videos. So yes, so if you need a lot of money to travel, no, that's a myth. Yes, if you want luxury travel and you want to go on fancy holidays and stay in 5-star hotels, then you do need a lot of money, and some people like that. I don't think it's as interesting as the way that I travel, because I would not have got to stay in a converted warehouse in Sydney last year. That was through Workaway as well. So there are lots of ways that you can make it work. It takes a huge amount of faith. You have to be pretty badass. If you watch my last video, you know what I'm talking about. Because each day or each month is uncertain. Where am I going to be next month? Well, I know now. I know where I'm going to be until the middle of July. So for the next 6 or 7 weeks or so, I have accommodation sorted. I'm also going to Bali on a visa run, because I have to leave the country every 3 months. And again, that costs a total for 8 days in Bali for flights and accommodation the equivalent of 400 UK pounds. So about just over $800, $850 Australian dollars, that is. Don't know what that is in US, but so it doesn't have to cost a lot. And there are ways, you know, if you've got skills as well, you might be able to put those to work to earn money as well. So for example, as I said, I used to be a teacher, and this is my 20th year now, I mark exams. So although it's autumn going into winter here, it's spring going into summer in the UK. So kids are doing their GCSEs, their end of school exams, and for the last 20 years I've been marking those. And the wonderful thing, it's all online, so I can do it from anywhere in the world as long as I've got my laptop and Wi-Fi. And also that provides me with extra money going into my pension. I already get my teacher's pension. I got that when I was 60, but my other pension I will get when I'm 67 in just over 5 years' time. So when I sign up, you have the option to opt in to the pension scheme. Why wouldn't you? So I pay a contribution. Also, when I pay a contribution, the employer has to pay a contribution. So it's all money going into my pension as well. And I'm looking at doing some work here as well, paid work that is, through somebody that I met a couple of weeks ago. I'm not going to say too much about that at the moment, because it's not happened yet, but it's in the pipeline. But the thing what I would say is, as I said, life is short. You get one chance at it. Tomorrow isn't guaranteed. My ex-husband died suddenly at the age of 51. I think he thought he was going to live forever. He hadn't made a will or anything. So you don't know. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to be here tomorrow. I say I'm going to make a video next week. I might not. Who knows? The other week I hurt my hand. I think I mentioned that before as well. It's a lot better now. I think the gardening's helping it actually. And so I was unable to write for a while because it's my right hand and I'm right-handed, and I've not been able to do much writing. So making videos is fine because that involves talking. Maybe that was a sign from the universe. I don't know. So it's about getting creative, thinking about what have you got to offer, what skills have you got. I also teach meditation. There are lots of guided meditations on this channel. I don't tend to post them anymore, but I am on Insight Timer, and I'll post a link below if you use that. That's a meditation app, and it's the most popular meditation app out there, so I can earn a bit of money from that as well. So what I would say is, if you've got lots of savings, that's great. You probably won't need to work at all, but that's basically how I've lived my life for the last 20 years, working when I need to, using the skills that I have. For years I worked as a supply teacher, or as they call it in Australia, relief teacher, substitute teacher in America, but basically a teacher who goes into cover for other teachers who are off sick, on maternity leave, on a course or whatever. And that meant that I could choose the days that I worked, and I could go away in term time if I wanted to. I go on a lot of retreats. Well, I did when I was in the UK. I haven't done a retreat since I've been here, but it gave me that flexibility to work when I wanted to. Okay, if I didn't work, I didn't get paid, and I didn't get paid as much as I would have done if I was a full-time teacher. But for me, the trade-off was worth it. Yes, I could get a well-paid job teaching, but do I want that? No, I don't. I want the life that I have. A lot of people say they're envious of me, but don't be envious. If you're envious, it means that's something that you want. You can do this, you can. And if you want to ask anything else about how I do it and how I fund my lifestyle, feel free to comment below and I'll answer any questions. Maybe I'll even do a live Q&A one day. I don't have enough followers for that yet, so do follow me. Come on, let's get this going. Let's build a community of women who want to live life on their terms. So I will see you again very soon, and with more updates of what's happening in my life. And in the meantime, take care, go well, and lots of love.